physical.
Good, that's right. Good to be seen and not viewed. I understand.
True. I have a lovely face for radio. Yes, I do. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners all across the world, I want you to know that we've got something very special here. Mr. Don Vappie and Richard Moten and Alonzo Bowens.
Yes.
Bowens. That's
Yes.
it was the S that threw me. Are here in the studio. And if you can, I want you to hop over to either our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and you can see this live and in person, because you have a face for radio. I don't.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about being on video.
Oh, but you brushed your hair even anyway,
yeah,
right?
even my teeth too.
So we have you here today because you have the King Oliver's Creole Jazz Band at Satchmo Fest.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it because, this is the 100-year anniversary of the recording from King Oliver, the one that brought Louis Armstrong to Chicago and introduced him to the world through King Oliver's Creole Jazz Band. And in fact, from listening to some of the stuff, I realized that even Louis considered that the best band he had ever played with, because throughout his life he'd play along with the records, So I'm really excited to be part of it. I've always felt like the music from that period in New Orleans, King Oliver, Jelly Roll, Astoria, Hot 8, all those bands back then. I just think that's as important as Bach and Beethoven and Mozart. I mean, that to me, that's just classic and the roots of everything that we play today. So it's very important.
Well, let's get to some of that music. I got
Oh, you got
goosebumps
chills.
now.
Okay.
So I got chills.
Well, at the festival, we're going to have our 8-piece group, but today I just have my 3 compadres. We play a lot together, actually, more than anything. Alonzo on clarinet and Richard on bass. And we're going to start off with a version of Canal Street Blues, which was one of the songs on that 1923 recording. So we'll do our little version of it there. Ready? One, two, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, indeed. So tell me, when are you playing at Satchmo?
We're going to be there on August 5th. And I forgot the exact time, but you should get there early and enjoy the whole day. And in fact, I'm also going to be interviewed on the upper floors inside the Jazz Museum. I've got an interview coming up. So,
Yes, you do, at 1 o'clock
yes.
with WWOZ's very own David Kunian.
There you go. See?
And that is just titled A Conversation.
That's
with
right.
Don
And
Vappie.
that's what it's going to be, a conversation.
And you're good with that.
I'm
you you're good at that, right? You started amazing conversations
I can
with your listeners
improvise.
during the lockdown. Yeah, improvise.
I know someone mentioned
Improvisation.
today, I was on the porch yesterday. For those of you who don't know, during the pandemic, I was sitting on the porch one day drinking coffee with my dog, Hunter, who wasn't drinking coffee. But I thought, let me see how this Facebook Live thing works. And I just turned it on and started talking. And that evolved into Coffee on the Porch with Don Vappie. And I did it every day for about 3 years or so. And this morning I looked at a comment on Facebook because they have a group they formed called Porch People. And someone was just really appreciative of how they got through the pandemic, because I gave them, some normalcy, I guess, through that. So
You did, and you've had porch people at your house for a dinner, for a lunch.
I was playing. We couldn't work or anything, so I would play music. I would talk in the morning, and then at 3 o'clock I would do afternoon songs, and people would send tips and stuff through PayPal or Venmo or whatever, and they helped me survive this whole thing. So the French Quarter Fest, after all of that was over, they were in town, and I said, I got Mike Dominici to come over, and he cooked, and we just had a big party at the house as a big thank you for everyone, helping and to support me as well as each other. So
It's a good bunch of people. Porch people are always good bunch of people.
yeah, they are.
So your performance with the King Oliver Creole Jazz Band Centennial,
Yes.
led by Don Vappie, is at 3:30 this Saturday. So you can come and listen to him talk at 1 and go grab you a beverage and get some shade and get under the tent over on the Barrack Street side of the Mint.
Get your spot. That's
Get
right.
you a spot, and at 3:30 hear incredible music like I would love to hear again.
I
Right now,
think
what you got?
that's really wonderful stuff. I don't know if y'all can hear the train passing outside, but you're making me feel at home because I grew up a block and a half from a train
You
track, and I can sleep right through it, man.
Yeah, it's.
I'm
I wake up when it doesn't roll
right,
by.
exactly. So anyway, I appreciate all of the original music that King Oliver brought to us, and I thought, I did an album recently, what was 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, and it's called The Blue Book of Storyville. So I thought I'd play some of my original compositions in honor of that creativity that King Oliver and Armstrong inspires in us. So I'll do the title track of that one for you. It's called The Blue Book of Storyville, and it's all about the Blue Book, which existed during Storyville. It listed all of the women who worked at all the brothels in Storyville during that time. And I thought it was such an interesting subject, so I wrote this tune about it. And cool?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
Remember, y'all can hear this and see this on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel.
Well, it happened in the district. Now it's all history, where men from all around got their kicks. Plenty pretty women, a catalog for sinning. Browse the pages, take your pick. all shapes and sizes, full of surprises, there for every man's desire, all on display, like prepaid foreplay, love for sale, love for hire. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Now when all is said and done, all have had their fun. The morning sun comes creeping in. A few hours go by, la jolie fille lets out a sigh. Everything begins again. You see it happened in the district. Now it's all history, where men from all around got their kicks. Plenty of pretty women, catalog for sinning. Browse the pages, take your pick. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Now when all is said and done, all have had their fun. The morning sun comes creeping in. A few hours go by, la jolie fille lets out a sigh. Everything begins again. You see it happened in the district. Now it's all history, where men from all around got their kicks. Plenty pretty women, catalog for sinning. Browse the pages, take your pick. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville. Get hooked on the book and book your hook. It's the Blue Book of Storyville.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Ah,
Thank you.
I love that song. I've loved it since the first time I heard it.
Thank you very much.
I have to guard myself that I don't play it every week, but it's tempting. I listen to it every week at least. So we're celebrating the 100th anniversary
Right.
of this particular recording.
Yeah, it was in 1923 that that album was released, and the songs are just amazing. And you know, when I started, actually, we're calling it the centennial of King Oliver's group, but the musicians playing will be basically the musicians that are made up of the Creole Jazz Serenaders, which is my 8-piece group. And you know, we're when I started that group, I was in New York actually. I was doing some stuff with Wynton Marsalis, and we're doing some of the early jazz pieces. And I got the idea to transcribe some of the early music, not so much to recreate it, but to write down kind of what the guys played, because what people played during that time is typical of that period, and I wanted the musicians today to read that and interpret it so they could kind of hear where that period was. It's kind of like everything else, you know. In classical music, you have different periods, you know, Baroque period and modern period and all stuff. And, you know, even in jazz, we have, you know, the early jazz, we've got the the bebop comes in, straight ahead stuff, swing and all. So I wanted everyone to have the spirit of that early New Orleans feel, which continues to exist today in New Orleans. You know, it's when I was getting into the banjo, you know, I was checking out music in Haiti. It's all around that you know, that 3 against 4 kind of thing. So I mean, and I realized that even in New Orleans, even our pop music, our funk music, everything is built around that. I mean, hey Pakiwe, hey Pakiwe. I mean, that's the 70s, but still, I mean, that's what? How long ago is that? And we're still as Caribbean as we were in the beginning. It's probably why most historians consider New Orleans the most northern part of the Caribbean.
Part of the Caribbean.
Music, the food, the way we talk, the way we live, the way we build our houses, the way we decorate, the colors we paint.
True.
So,
Oh my goodness, so much influence there that so many people don't realize. And when I talk with young musicians, I ask them, you know, they may want to. They're all about. I did this Miles Davis solo. I played his solo. No, no, and I try to tell them. I said, look, when you build a house, you don't start with the roof first.
yeah, that's right.
What do? You start with that foundation. And this is that foundation.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But I mean, you know, in terms of, because my students, I've had students over the years, and I'm always open to them learning to play the music of their generation. I mean, that's exactly what I did. We grew up, we were just talking about Joe Tex and, you know, skinny legs and all, right? As you mentioned Leroy, first thing came into my mind was, Leroy, you gotta, you know?
You gotta.
So, I mean, but Earth, Wind, and Fire, all that stuff, I still love that stuff. That's music of my generation. And getting into that, and then you start to mature in your life and in your music, and you start exploring, well, where did this come from? You know, and I really worked my way back. I didn't just jump back from from my generation to 1900. I worked my way back, you know, the rhythm and blues of the 50s, you know, swing, jump blues. And when you work your way back like that, you start to see, it's like deconstructing a meal. You know, what was in there made it? It had some onions in there, it had some, I taste a little bit of, you know, whatever. And you kind of recreate that. And that's how I got back to this. Plus, I grew up here, and I heard banjos, and you know, my generation hated the banjo because we all considered it like an Uncle Tom kind of thing. And and that's when I realized that the banjo came here with the slaves from Africa. Even the banjo that we hear in bluegrass and country music got there from slaves traveling north and was introduced. So, you know, I first thing I thought was, geez, you know, I mean, I know this is America, but how can one group of people make another group of people hate something that belongs to them? So I started really dealing with the banjo on my terms, as I heard it. And, you know, through my life, some people have said, no, that's not really the way that's not your part, that you shouldn't play it like that or whatever. And I appreciate them. I think they had good intentions, but at the same time, I was coming from somewhere else, you know.
You're the one holding that banjo.
Yeah,
and you're the one playing it. You can play it however you want, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but, you know, honoring my ancestors.
Excuse me.
So, you know.
Well, I am so glad that you put this group together. Can you tell me who will be with you on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I know Richard's going to be there and Alonzo. They're here with me. And Steve Pastorius is going to play piano with me. I've got, I think Andrew Baham will be on trumpet. And Tom Fisher, if he's okay. I know he got sick there for a bit. So who else? I think Carl Boudreaux is playing drums with me. I'm missing somebody, huh? I'm missing another trumpet player.
Ah,
That's what I'm missing. And
Yeah.
Jamil Sharif was supposed to do it. And I think he had a little something came up. So I'm,
now you're looking for another one.
yeah, it won't
Happen
be.
to know one.
Yeah, but you
All
know,
right. Oh,
we'll
it
be
sounds
there.
wonderful.
I'll be there too.
You'll be there too. There you
Yeah.
go. That close enough. That one's 8. Again, folks, 3:30 on Saturday. The King Oliver Creole Jazz Band Centennial Celebration, led by Mr. Don Vappie.
Yes.
And again, you can catch him at 1:00 inside the Mint
Yeah.
with a lovely interview. I'm sure it'll be lovely.
I'm looking forward.
I gotta
to
watch
that.
you two when y'all get together, though.
Yeah.
David and Don Vappie. I
Yeah.
gotta be there for that one.
You know, I've always felt like, because I grew up here. I mean, when I started playing the banjo, I was in the, what was that mall out there near the airport? Esplanade Mall.
Esplanade. Uh-huh.
I was doing a brunch there, just banjo, clarinet, and snare drum. And I was approached by someone from Preservation Hall to come in. I think Father Al had just gotten sick. So I started playing there for a while.
Uh-huh.
And even before that, I played with different groups, and Bob French, Teddy Riley. Who am I thinking about? Tommy Ridgely.
Oh,
Thinking about Sammy Burfect. I was one of the polished gentlemen. So, but I wanted to say that by playing with different New Orleans early jazz style groups, I know we say trad, and but I got to say, King Oliver's band to me is the epitome of the early New Orleans jazz style, where the improvisation by multiple players is very conversational, very democratic, if you might say, very because you can, I mean, democracy is great, freedom, but you can't infringe upon other people's freedoms and call it freedom, because then you're denying them. And that's kind of what this music is it's the ultimate, everyone's playing together, but with each other. It's a good example for people who don't know how to get along.
I like that. I like that. Some schools, when kids want to fight, they want to, all right, well, here, let's put gloves on you and make you fight it out. Well, we should do that with our young musicians. You have different opinion here. Well, y'all play together now.
It's
play
communication. People always say music is the universal language, but let's take it a step further and let's learn how to converse.
Absolutely. I like that. So give me another conversation. You got a third song for me? And
in fact, this one it's a song, another song I composed. It's called "I Would If I Could," and I think what inspired it was one of Jelly Roll Morton's songs, the Hyena Stomp, where he does this ha 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 kind of. That's part of the song, but anyway.
Again,
I would if I could.
We are listening. You are tuned in to WWOZ, WWOZ.org, and you can go to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel and see this live.
Oh, yeah. And let me give a shout out to the greatest music store on the planet, Louisiana Music Factory, where you can find all of my music. So they're online, too.
There you go.
All right. So hello, Barry, and all the gang over there. Here we go. This is called I Would If I Could. I would hold you every night. If I could, I would treat you oh so right. Now if that was the status quo, oh baby, you'd get good loving like you should. I would if I could. Now if I could, I would hold you really tight. If I could, you know I would live my dream tonight. Oh, baby, you thrill me so. Oh, yeah, you know. Romance all day, that's what I say I would if I could. If I could, you know I would hold you really tight. If I could, you know I would live my dream tonight. Oh, baby, you thrill me so. Oh, yeah, you know. You get good loving like you should. I would if I could. If I could, you know I would hold you really tight. If I could, you know I would live my dream tonight. Oh, baby, you thrill me so. Oh, yeah, you know. Get good loving like you should. I would if I could. Oh, baby, you thrill me so. Oh, yeah, you know. You get good loving like you should. I would if I could. I would if I could. I would if I could.
Yeah.
And I would.
Oh goodness. I was gonna turn you loose, but I just love hearing you. And you just got back from an incredible trip, didn't you?
Yeah, actually, the band I recorded the Blue Book of Storyville with, my friends, 2 in London, 1 in France. And I don't know if people realize, but in 2020, which was the pandemic, the album actually got the top jazz album of 2020 in the Times in London. So we've had an incredible reaction to it, and it's been fantastic. I actually opened for Wynton Marsalis in Marciac last year, and the band finally getting to tour because everything was shut down. So the first part of July, I was all over France touring with the group, and then I couldn't work it out. I flew home on the 17th from Paris to New Orleans, slept at home for 3 or 4 hours, got up, went back to the airport, and flew to Geneva, Switzerland on the 18th to join Wynton Marsalis, and I played with him there for that week, and flew back on the 23rd. And I was telling this story earlier. You know, we're up in the mountains in this beautiful town called Verbier, and they have a festival there. And you know, in the mountains, it's dry. Altitude's high. It's dry. It's a little not cold, but anyway, you know,
Chilly.
Yeah, not even chilly. You know, it was comfortable. It's just that I'm a creature of the humidity, or as this guy told me in the airport one time, the humidity. And you know, I dried out, man. I dried out like a fish out of water. My nose bleeds, everything's like going to Arizona or something. So coming home was sort of miserable because the plane was dry and the air. And I was telling them, when I got off the airplane in New Orleans, the heat and the humidity, and I opened the door, my first step out, and I was like, oh, thank God, I'm back. But
Yeah.
it was really, it's a wonderful trip to play with such great musicians and just to see the world. You know, I think if you get a chance to travel, and music has been that chance for me, everyone should travel because, you know, wherever I go, people are the same. We have some cultural differences, but generally we're all the same. We're one big human race with different cultures.
We do different things, but we're the same people.
Yeah.
You know, we just do different things. So, what you got going on in town? Where else can folks hear you if they can?
Oh man, I don't know. You know, I haven't really played a lot in town. I've been enjoying staying home. But last night I played with Gerald French over at Mahogany Jazz Hall, and I've got probably some other things I'd like to do. I'm heading out. My mother-in-law is 101 years old, so I'm going to spend some time in Kentucky, and we're going to visit with her for a few weeks. And I'll be going to Denmark in October.
Ooh.
And I'll be in St. Louis for New Year's Eve.
Uh-huh.
And, I don't know. There's still stuff in the works
There's still
happening,
stuff.
you know.
When you're in Kentucky, in Owensboro, there's a new bluegrass museum.
Yeah.
And they told me they were going to move it over. But in the old one, they had a banjo joke wall. And you'd read the punchline, open the little door. Read the joke, open the little door. There was the punchline. So you got to go check that out.
I will. I'm okay with banjo jokes.
I think they're great.
Bela Flex hates them. So I can understand. But
Anu gets upset with them when I
Yeah.
throw them out there. But I think they're creative.
Tony Trischka's cool with them.
Good.
So it's
Good.
You got to have a sense of humor.
So do you have a website?
Yes, donvappie.com.
Spell that.
D-O-N, Don. Vappie is V-A-P-P-I-E. Vappie.
Vappie.
Yeah, Don Vappie.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Can you give me one more tune?
Yeah. Yeah,
I know you weren't planning to, but
that's all right. We'll do a little...
you guys got something better to do this morning? Richard,
my wife
Alonzo?
would say yes. Oh, jolie fille, pourquoi vous pas viens ici? Jolie fille, pourquoi vous pas viens ici? Vous connaissez, je l'aime vous. Molez-vous pour moi, chérie. Mais quelle jolie fille dans cette maison. Mais quelle jolie fille dans cette maison. Si vous croyez moi, je sais bien attendre.
Thank you so much, Don Vappie, Richard Moten, Alonzo Bowens. Y'all come back and see me
Merci beaucoup. A
anytime.
bientôt.
Again, Satchmo SummerFest, 3:30
Yep.
Saturday. Got to do it.
See you then.
Thank you so much.
Thank